Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. We have a really cool prototype for you today from watches by Nick. It's part of his Orion project. First off, a little bit about the brand. Nick Harris is out of the US. Originally, he mainly focused on watch modifications, mostly Seiko based, and essentially this is his first original model, which is the Orion, and this is a particular variant titled the Field Standard. Now, a little bit about field watches in general and kind of some key features, common design language to look for when you're looking for a classic field watch. You're going to want something that's more modest in size, with full numerals, 12 and 24-hour scale. And normally you'll find it on either a black or a cream dial. A little bit about this particular model. It is the Field Standard, and it's basically should have about the same retail price as the regular Orion 1 model, which is between kind of in the $400 to $500 range, and I think that that's actually a really great value. So let's go ahead and zoom out a bit, pick this up, and let's see why. All right, first off, just like the standard Orion 1 model, it is 38 millimeters in diameter, which is really nice, and I think some people might be worried that that will wear a little bit small, but when you see it on wrist, you'll kind of understand that it actually fits really, really well. Now, thickness is a 12.3 millimeter height with the case, which is stainless steel, and it's brushed and polished, as you can see here. Really nicely done. This is a traveling model, so it is not in perfect condition. It's definitely seeing a little bit of wear and tear, so don't be alarmed if you see a couple of nicks on there. Okay, the crystal is a sapphire crystal there with a single dome, so there is some distortion that's there when you look at it at angle, but I feel like when you have these kind of more minimalist dials, it adds a little bit of visual kind of interest and kind of livens it up a bit. And this isn't a dive watch, so it doesn't need to have a ton of legibility or anything like that, so I think when you're looking at it straight on, still extremely legible. Then the light can play with it a bit, you catch a little a couple of glimpses of that AR. I think it is actually really nice looking. Okay, now as far as the crown, as you can see, really, really nice crown. This is probably one of my favorite crowns in the business. This thing, the functionality of this crown, really, really great. Great winding action. So smooth, nice and big. The grip, the knurling on here, it's fantastic. Even in the gloves, as you can see, I can use that just fine. Get it lined up. Screw down crown, fantastic. Hard to find in a field watch. Okay, and the movement, although it is a solid case back, the production model will actually have the specs engraved on. Very minimalist style. I think it looks really great from the renderings I've seen, but this model in particular for review is it's pretty plain back there, nothing special about it, but the quality definitely is there, which is very nice. Inside beats the venerable Seiko Instruments NH35, which essentially is just an unbranded 4R35 movement from Seiko. It's hacking and hand windable, which is great. Now, the dial takes a really nice little play on kind of a classic look. He's actually added applied indices, if you can see that there, and they catch the light, and it really dresses it up nicely, because you will see a lot of kind of field watches that are out there now that are more on the dressy side. You'll see them on crocodile. This actually does come on a fitted crocodile strap. I took it off to put it on this Really nice bracelet from Strap Code. It's one of their end mills, which is really nice. 22 millimeters. Then it tapers down. Actually, it's 20 millimeters. Tapers down to 18. I think it's a really cool look. I think the polished center link actually plays off really well with the polished bezel. So there's the brushed and polished finishes on both the case and the bracelet. Nothing wrong with the strap that was provided. It was actually really, really nice. I just wanted to change things up because, you know, pretty much most of the media that you're going to see already out on this watch, you've seen it already on that really nice alligator. So I figured, why not do the review on this really cool bracelet. But back to the dial, you know, as in standard field standard affair, very standard issue look with the 12 and 24-hour scale there. Really nice cathedral hands, all loomed. And you know, that those applied indices just add such a really nice touch, I feel, in dressing this up and really making it more than just a tool watch. But you know, let's face it, in today's world, a wristwatch is a luxury, whether you're wearing a G-Shock or, you know, a $10 Casio or, you know, an $8,000 Submariner. So, you know, it's nice to have something on the wrist, and it's nice to have something of quality. So definitely really cool, and I'm loving the way this looks. And let's go ahead and get into a loom shot so you guys can see, which this is where the Field Standard, although it might be dressed up a bit for daily wear, it still has the chops of what you're looking for when it comes to a field watch. So you do have legibility at night because all of these numerals here are actually loomed. Okay. So as you can see, really, really nice, outstanding legibility. Now those cathedral hands look fantastic, even in the dark. Now the dial itself, of course, it's just printed on there, so it's not going to be, you know, as bright as something where would have like an applied indice and had a very thick coating. But it's honestly really unexpected to even have those loomed. Normally it would just be kind of a couple little the outer triangle markers that are, let's go ahead and recharge this while I'm talking here. So the outer triangle normally would just be kind of those triangle markers would be loomed. In this case, they are reflective, so it gives you really good legibility during the day. And then at night, it's pretty cool that you can actually see the 24-hour scale loomed as well. So, you know, of course, again, at night, you know, you're not going to want a field watch that's going to be too bright because you don't want to give away your position. So it's really cool to have this kind of, I think it's a nice balance. So you can still tell what time it is, but it's not going to be anything that's crazy bright. You know, you don't have to worry about walking in from a bright day into a dark movie theater and bothering anybody with your loom. So pretty cool there. And let's go ahead and get this on the wrist. So as you can see, really nice bracelet from Strap Code. Nice milled folding clasp there. There you go. And on wrist, I have a 7 1/4 inch wrist, and as you can see, it wears really, really well. It doesn't look small or big. I think it's, there was a time when I was a little bit, you know, hesitant to wear something below 40 millimeters, but I gotta say, you know, it's not just a matter of specs. It's the case shape. There's so many other factors that come into play on how a watch actually wears. And as you can see, although it does, from this angle, appear to have very long lugs, when you actually look at the curvature of the case, you can see that those lugs turn down very, very nicely. And because of the drilled lugs, it actually gives you an indicator of where the lug holes are. and they're actually butted up pretty close to the case there. So even if you were wearing this with a regular straight end leather, if you wanted to put on something, you know, a little bit more vintage, or you know, maybe a rubber strap or something like that, you're not going to have a huge gap just because it has the longer end links, because the end links actually extend quite a bit further past, as you can see, basically where those lug holes are. And what this does is it enables you to wear it with a straight end link bracelet, and I think it just pulls together really well, ties into that kind of classic vintage vibe, especially with this end mill style bracelet there. And you know, normally I'm not a huge fan of polished center links, but I think it just adds really nice visual interest to this piece. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan. I think it turned out really nice. It's not available yet, but I do believe that Nick will be starting pre-order soon. So make sure, and you know, if you like the Orion 1 and maybe you wanted something just a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, maybe like a little bit more versatile, you know, a little bit less dressy, you know, I think this is definitely a great, you know, a great option. Maybe something a little bit more vintage feel to it. I think this definitely hits those marks. There's so many field watches that are out there today, from low end to extremely high end, and I gotta say, this one right here really hits the right notes. I'm a big fan, and I'm really happy that I was able to get my hands on this prototype. I think it's just fantastic. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know, what would you like to see from Watches by Nick? I think he does fantastic work. You know, of course, there's always his special editions that are have that hand engraving, which are fantastic. You know, I think Nick Harris is just making all the right moves right now. If you follow him on social media, you'll see that he's actually in watchmaking school right now. So he's just refining his craft, and I think he's a great up-and-comer. So I think that does add, you know, the possibility of some collectability to this, because who knows, maybe Watches by Nick, you know, he could maybe be the next Christopher Ward, who knows. So this definitely could be a case where you can get somebody's very early piece, and you know, one-man design, one-man assembly, and it's just something really fantastic to behold and have on the wrist. Really special piece with a story, which is great. So if you like the video, please hit like. If you haven't already, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe for more content just like this coming at you soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.